Now, let's go to the Mooresville Ford broadcast booth and join the voices of tonight's game, John Ammon and David Stiles.
We find ourselves tonight in the confines of Coach Joe Pop Stadium here for the last regular season home game for your Mooresville Blue Devils, and they are getting ready to take on the Greyhounds from Statesville, who they have not seen in about 9 or so seasons, John.
Hard to believe. We used to play Statesville all the time, and then the way everything went, Mooresville's high school kept getting more and more kids, and Statesville was losing more and more kids to the new Iredell County schools, and so they've now come back. They are still a smaller division. We are 7A, they are 6A, but we have a split conference. So Statesville and North Iredell are 6A teams, but they are playing with Lake Norman and South and Davie and us, which are 7A teams. So it should be an interesting game having the Greyhounds visit us.
Tell the tape, both of these teams 6-2. However, Mooresville undefeated in conference play. They're 3-0. Statesville, they're 1-2. They've dropped losses to Lake Norman and Davie. So coming into this one, Greyhounds, they really need a win, so they're playing with a lot of pride here tonight.
They are, and it's one of those things that for the Devils, they came off a big game last week against Davie County. They've got their other big 7A game next week against Lake Norman. This is one of those games you got to be careful. It's not a trap game. You got to stay focused, and you got to play Mooresville football.
Third down and long, ball spotted on the Statesville 43. Still a tie ball game, 0-0. Barber now in motion from right to left. Trip set to the left of Houck, Marin, and Bost. Here's the snap. Norman sprints out to the left, throws it for Marin. He has it. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Blue Devils.
Dom Marin with the 43-yard reception. And just like that, the Devils get 6.
They were lined up in that trip set. Marin ran a little out and then up down the sideline. And Brody Norman able to dot him in stride. No one around Dom Marin as he scampers in for the 43-yarder.
Tell you what else I liked about that is Norman was rolling to his left and sort of almost sidearmed that there. He saw him. Perfect pass. Nice job by Marin.
Here's the kick from Cummings. Sails through the uprights. Mooresville captures a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter. 7 minutes, 16 seconds left to go. And when we return, we'll bring you the kickoff. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football here on WHIP. Statesville will have it 1st and 10 from their own 20 as Andrew Cummings able to put it in the end zone for a touchback. As Harrington comes back out to control this Greyhound offense. They're running the same formation, 3 receivers to the right, lone receiver to the left, White in the backfield with Harrington. Here's the snap, and I think this is going to be offsides, everyone but the center.
Yeah. The center forgot to snap it, or he was on a different count because the offense, the defense, everybody engaged except the ball.
As a former center, I've done that before, and when you get back to the huddle, everyone just kind of looks at you. You're like, my bad. Harrington at the controls, and they have one of their big linemen as an H-back in the backfield. 2 receivers split to the left. Here's the snap. Harrington back to pass. A blitz from Mooresville. They have a man downfield, and it is hauled in. Off to the races, but tackled by Cleaves out of bounds. That time on the reception, it was Chance Taylor. Harrington at the controls. Carter on his right hip. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Harrington rolls out to the right side. Touchdown, Statesville.
2-yard run. Harrington did a nice job of faking the handoff. The Devils concentrated that straight up the middle. Harrington went on the left side, and he goes in for the 6.
As Statesville looks to tie this up here with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the first quarter. As the kicker for this group, George Daly, steps it off. His right foot calibrated and ready to send it into the uprights. Snap is good, hold is good, kick on its way. And it is through. 7-7 is your score here in the first quarter. Mooresville, Statesville. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in the first. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football on WHIP. Houck, Barber, Bost, all split out to the left. Marin, lone receiver to the right. Young in the backfield. He's got that Ashton Genty style stand, Michael Myers they call it, in the backfield as he's almost completely erect. 3rd down and 13. Ball on the 32. Young now in motion. Here's Norman. Drops back to pass. A lot of pressure from the Greyhounds. Norman will pull it down and run out to the 40, and he scampers out of bounds. Good 3rd down gain for the Devils, but not enough for the first. It'll be 4th down and long. Welcome back. David Stiles along with John M. and Harold Hamrick here on senior night at Coach Joe Pop Stadium. Blue Devils, Greyhounds, locked up 7-7 so far. 3 minutes, 17 seconds left to go in the first quarter, 4th and 4. Here's the kick by Cummings. Nice high kick this time. It'll be fielded by the returner as he takes off from the 20, and he is wrapped up and taken down after a gain of 15, down at the 35. That time on the return, it was Paul Cathene.
So the last time Statesville had the ball, David, they threw 2 passes, one 28 yards and one 50 yards. The Devils have got to figure out a way to get to the quarterback, Harrington. Harrington gets rid of that ball fast, and he has a good, strong arm. And the Statesville receivers, they made nice catches, made nice adjustments, and the Devils are going to have to figure out what they can do to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Cathene, Newman, and Stackhouse all split out to the right. Lone receiver to the left is Taylor. In the backfield is White. They hand it off to him. Fumble! Ball on the ground. Childs falls on it. Mooresville football! As Tanner Finnerty, Maddox Blackburn able to hit White as he tried to roll over to the right side, and they punched it free, and Amari Childs there able to scoop it up for the Devils. Big takeaway for Mooresville. 3 minutes, 1 second left to go in the first. Tie ball game, 7-7. Again, Mooresville punted and then forced a fumble, and then they went backwards on the 1st and 10 play. And then 2 incomplete passes back-to-back. It results in 4th and 15. Here's the snap. Cummings spiraling kick. It will hit at the 11. Shaft is there. They down it at the 1. Jack Shaft, the long snapper, is able to run it down, and he downs it right at the 1-yard line. That's 2 weeks in a row that we've seen a punt downed inside the 5. Here's the snap. They hand it off. It is a read. The ball on the ground again as the Blue Devils try to fall on it, and they will say it is recovered
Greyhounds.
by the Greyhounds as Carter came up with it and threw it to the sideline. Lucky play there for Statesville as the ball was really obscured from our view for a few seconds.
Well, that time what happened is Harrington and Carter, they couldn't decide on the handoff, and it didn't get in the breadbasket and pull it out or whatever you were going to do.
And this will be the end of the first quarter as it is tied up still, 7-7. Blue Devils hanging tough, though. We'll bring you the second and 14 play after this break. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football on WHIP. As now Statesville, they're doing a little bit of substitution down there on that defensive line. Again, they're playing a 3-4 as well. And as we noted, one of their leading receivers plays defensive end. You don't see that very often. So here's the 1st and 26 play. Again, 1st and goal from the Statesville 26. 2 receivers split to the left, 1 receiver split to the right. Bost, now that lone receiver, he is in motion. Here's Norman. He drops back to pass, loads up, throws it deep. Barber is there. Touchdown! 26 yards. Who cares when you've got Gavin Barber?
And that was just a beautiful, nobody covered him. Norman saw that and was able to put it in the end zone. 26-yard completion to Gavin Barber, the senior tight end headed to Appalachian.
6 minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the second. Play clock is at 18. Harrington at the controls. Taylor, lone receiver, split to the right. 1 receiver split to the left. They have 2 H-backs to the left of the formation behind the line of scrimmage. Here's the snap. Harrington drops back to pass. A lot of pressure. He steps up in the pocket. Sacked. Thomas there, able to wrap him up off of the defensive line, the nose guard for the Blue Devils.
And that loss was 5 yards all the way back to the 40. And this may create a punting situation because it's going to be 4th and 10.
Empty backfield. Norman all by his lonesome. He drops back to pass. Nowhere to go. He's going to step up in the pocket. He takes off and running. Breaks 1 tackle. Down to the 20 and slides down at the 10. Great acrobatics by Brody Norman as he was able to evade pressure, and then he felt the pressure coming in from both sides and just wisely hits the turf. McCombs back into the backfield, pistol set, Marin split to the left. Bost split to the right. Here's the snap. Handoff is a fake. Norman will keep it to the left side. Touchdown, Brody Norman!
Brody Norman, left side, 8 yards, and the Devils stretch their lead to 20-7.
3 minutes, 17 seconds left to go here in the first half as Brody Norman pulls it and calls his own number and scampers into the north end zone right in the M in Mooresville as they extend this lead as Andrew Cummings tries to make it a 14-point game. Cheerleaders cheering them on, dancing away. Cummings' kick is up and splits the uprights. Mooresville 21, Statesville 7. When we return, we'll bring you the Andrew Cummings kickoff. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football here on WHIP. As Stackhouse and Taylor are now split out to the same side of the formation. Lone receiver is Newman, split out to the left. Here's the snap. Harrington back to pass, looking for somewhere to go. He's being chased. McCallum gets him and sacked. Third down and 13. Ball spotted on the 22. Here's the snap. Harrington drops back to pass. He's being chased, and he will be thrown down by McCallum, but he gets away as Harrington scampers off down to the 40, at the 50, finally pushed out of bounds, and 2 flags thrown as Tanner Finnerney able to get to him, and one of the athletic trainers over here on the sideline is knocked to the ground after he's pushed out of bounds.
They're going to say that he was out of bounds when he was pushed, so it's going to add 15 yards. So instead of the Devils, looked like they had him sacked at the 5-yard line. They wrapped him up, they spun him, but this kid, like I said, his sense of gravity is amazing. He's able to spin, he kept running, and then literally he just ran out of speed. And he was worn out. They're calling a holding. Boy, that's a generous call, but it's still going to be a first down for Statesville because it's going to be a spot foul. They're going to have the ball at their 43-yard line with a new set of downs.
Stackhouse, Cathene split out to the left. Taylor Newman split out to the right in a balanced spread shotgun set for Statesville. Again, Mooresville leading here late in the second quarter, 21-7. Now Newman goes in motion from right to left. Here's the snap. Harrington back to pass. Mooresville gets home. Harrington hits the dirt. Sack by the Blue Devils.
That time they made sure they took him down.
There were 4 black jerseys and only 1 white jersey that they were coming after, and Harrington had nowhere to go as they surrounded him on all sides. Again, Harrington, he's been like a cat with 9 lives. He's been able to get out of some pretty sticky situations and end up getting a first down for this Statesville club as Carter will join him in the backfield. 3 receivers for the Greyhounds split out to the left. Taylor, lone receiver, split out to the right. Ball spotted on the 40. Here's a snap. Harrington drops back to pass. Mooresville with pressure. Harrington reversing field. He is hit 3-4 times and finally spun to the turf. KJ Gillespie. 2nd and 1. Ball spotted on the 23 after Norman able to complete it to Barber. As they wind the clock, clock will now start rolling as they need to snap this pretty quickly. 33 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Norman finally gets it snapped. They're going to pass it over to Moran. Hook and ladder. They throw it to McCombs. McCombs spins. Touchdown, Mooresville! As Brody Norman loads up, hits Don Marin. Don Marin flips it to Jadarius McCombs. He breaks the tackle and into the north end zone.
And the Devils put up another 6. A very, very sweet play. There's no other way you can say.
Norman rolls out to the left. He now reverses field, back to the right. Looking downfield, he throws a strike, and it is Marin. He hauls it in at the 20, first down, Mooresville.
Again, Don Marin, when you need him, that's who you look for. And the Devils pick up 18 yards down to the 20.
It'll be 2nd down and 8. Ball will be spotted on the 18. 8 minutes, 10 seconds left to go here in the third. Again, Mooresville leading 28-7. They send Barber in motion from left to right as he now comes set behind the right tackle. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. They throw it over the middle. Bost has it and is downed at the 5. First down, Mooresville. On the slant, Chance Bost able to get in space, a little bit of separation. Norman delivers a perfect strike, and they have it first and goal. Knocking on the doorsteps again of that Statesville end zone as they're driving towards the field house here at Coach Joe Pop Stadium.
Offsides, and the Devils are
going to go for it. They'll switch personnel here as Andrew Cummings will scoot off the field. Brody Norman, helmet in hand, finally gets it back on his dome. He's ready to go as he looks to the sideline. They're going to call the play from the home side as Mooresville doesn't really huddle up.
Against the Greyhounds.
We will have Bost split out to the left along with Marin. McCombs in the backfield. Barber split out to the right side. Along with Seeley, they now go in motion from right to left. Pistol set. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Norman keeps it. Touchdown over on the right side.
Brody Norman. He sold that one beautifully as they thought it was going to be Jadarius. And Norman just took it on the naked bootleg over on the right side. Nobody followed him, and the Devils stretch it to a 27-point lead.
Second rushing touchdown of the night for Brody Norman as he hits pay dirt again in that north end zone. Student section jumping around. Burger King hats flying. As it is a blackout tonight as they're decked out in all black. Again, Blue Devils tonight. They're wearing black tops, black bottoms, blue helmets. They've got that old school devil on the side. So we haven't seen that in a few seasons, John. And welcome back. David Stiles along with John Ammon. Our score here tonight at senior night so far. Mooresville 35, Statesville 7. We're in the third quarter, 5 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. Statesville has the football. It is second down and 8. Ball spotted on the 22 of Statesville. After Brody Norman scored a touchdown, we have a new quarterback. It is Cathene. And
he's a sophomore.
And White also in the backfield with him for this Greyhound offense. Taylor, lone receiver, split out to the right. His split is choked way down. Here's the snap. Cathene will roll over to the left, looking for somewhere to throw it to. He reverses and is sacked down past the 5 as they will now be in the shadow of their own end zone as he just kept reversing, nowhere to go, and then finally the Blue Devils get him on the turf.
Pegram, really, he's a little guy, but he came up, textbook, took out his feet. Gain of 1, but it's second and 9.
Coach Mayo says that this cat is just a football player. He was a receiver for the past couple of seasons, and he came to the coach and said, hey, what can I do to get on the field? He says, you want to play defense? He said, sure, put me in. He's been pretty rock solid all year for the Devils. Second and 9. Ball spotted on the 21 for the Greyhounds. Here's the snap. Delayed handoff. 4 Devils hit the running back at the same time, and he goes nowhere. Huge tackle for loss as that offensive line for Statesville looked like a sieve, and the Mooresville defense was just water as they came right through and able to tackle the back in the backfield for a tackle for loss.
They tried to do that draw or delayed handoff, and the Devils were right there. I mean, there were literally 3 guys that he was looking at. They actually were pretty fortunate that they didn't fumble it because they were there that fast.
His pass was intended for Bost down the middle seam route, and they were just not able to connect as the Greyhound defenders able to get in there and really just disrupt Bost from getting his hands on it. 52 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Again, Mooresville leading 35-7. Andrew Cummings will try a field goal, and he can hit from here, John.
Yeah, it's going to be approximately a 44-yard field goal attempt.
Here's the snap. Cummings' kick is up. It has the distance. Did it sneak in? It did. Andrew Cummings with a 44-yarder. Good. 38-7 is your score for the Blue Devils. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football here on WHIP. Barber Bost, they're split out to the left along with Houck. Marin, lone receiver, to the right. McCombs in the backfield with Brody Norman. They now will spell McCombs as Evan Young will come into the ball game. Or now he'll go back out of the ball game. Looks like they traded mouthpieces or something. I don't know.
So it's going to be third down.
Gave him a piece of gum. That's what it was. 9 minutes, 47 seconds left to go here in the fourth. Norman back to pass. He's going to step up in the pocket. Throws it for Barber. Barber has it. 10, 5. He leans. Touchdown. Gives a little dance there in the end zone.
28 yards for Barber. And his second touchdown of the night. And that stretches the lead.
Joe Houck met him in the end zone and said, handshake, and they shook hands. These seniors having a lot of fun here tonight for their last regular season home game at Coach Joe Pop Stadium. Again, that's what it's about, John, is coming out here and having fun and competing. And we're definitely seeing that tonight with the Blue Devils. Here's the kick from Cummings. It splits the uprights. Mooresville extends their lead 45-7. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football here on WHIP. The game clock expiring down under 10 seconds. They will be victorious here tonight on senior night. They improve to 7-2 overall and 4-0 in conference. Statesville will fall to 6-3, and they also will be 1-3 in conference. All three of their losses to conference opponents, and all three of them 7A schools. So Statesville not looking too shabby here on the season, and they're a good football team. But Mooresville victorious tonight, 45-13. We'll take a little break and come back and wrap this one up. You're listening to Mooresville Blue Devil football here on WHIP.